Hello, I'm Dr. Anjali Bhalchandra. Today we'll be discussing about the digital modulation techniques, and the first one is binary phase shift key. Till now we have studied in last lecture about the merits of digital communication. In brief, it can be stated as the performance, efficiency, security, reliability. There are many advantages of the digital communication systems, but there are certain concerns or the disadvantages also. Concerns are larger bandwidth and the power consumption. Basically, design of any communication system is around these two parameters, the bandwidth and the power consumption. Bandwidth should be small, the power consumption should be small, but these are two disadvantages in case of digital communication system. Let us see the types. Whenever we talk about transmission of digital data, there are broadly two types. One is baseband data transmission and second one is passband data transmission. So first one, baseband, is original signal you will be transmitting, and second one is the according to the message signal, it will be the carrier will be modulated and then transmitted. So baseband transmission of digital data, basically band of frequencies representing the original signal delivered by the source of information. So example is the bit stream transmission in the computer, which is basically it is a binary data in form of zeros and ones will be transmitted through wires. So just a broad representation of baseband transmission is you have a source. Then the line coding technique is very important because you are going to represent the data with the help of one of the encoding technique. So it may be returning to zero, not returning to zero, bipolar, unipolar, Manchester, split and merge. Any one of the coding technique will be utilized. Then it will be made to pass through a transmission filter. This filter is used to avoid the frequencies, undesirable frequencies to be transmitted. The signal will be made to pass through a channel, and then it is at the receiver you are going to receive the with the help of filter you are going to remove the undesirable frequencies. Then decision making device. So decision making device is very important because though we are using transmission filter and the receiver filter, there are certain noises introduced into this. There are certain phenomena, that is the typical one is the pulse broadening phenomena is taking place. Maybe the role of channel where during propagation the pulses which are exactly in digital form are likely to broaden the during the transmission. So this causes ISI, inter-symbol interference. But basically after receiver filter, this decision has to be taken whether we have received a logic 1 or logic 0. So for that decision making device is used, and then it will be given to the destination and further processing. Certain problems regarding baseband transmission is the channel noise, the inter-symbol interference. The effect of this is erroneous bit detection. That is, if you are transmitted logic 1 but logic 0 is received, that is the or 1 is transmitted and 0 is received. So this is erroneous bit detection. The parameter which represents this particular effect is called as the BER, that is bit error ratio, and it is very much expected that it should be very small. Second effect is the bandwidth crunch. Certain corrective measures are to be taken, like you can use pulse shaping circuit to avoid the ISI. Now we are basically interested in some more applications. Till now we have studied about the bit stream transmission reception in the computer. But what about the wireless transmission? What about the satellite transmission? How we are going to transmit the signal? So under such condition, the strategy which is adopted is here. We are going to, the sinusoidal carrier whose amplitude, phase or frequency is varied in accordance with the message signal in which is in digital format. So if you are changing amplitude or phase or frequency, this being basically the message signal is in digital form, that is logic zeros and ones, bit sequence. So naturally it is changing between two values. It is shifting between two values. If you are using amplitude, if you are changing the amplitude of the carrier waveform, then it becomes an amplitude shift key. If we are changing the phase shift key, or when we are changing frequency, it becomes FSK. So that is why it is called as amplitude shift key, frequency shift key, and the phase shift key. ASK, FSK, PSK. There is one more point to be discussed is in the reception scheme also there are two types, that is coherent scheme and the non-coherent scheme, where the receiver, when the receiver is in synchronization with the transmitter with respect to carrier phase, it is called as the coherent scheme. This is the requirement of PSK to be specific. And second one is the non-coherent scheme, that is the receiver is not in synchronization with the transmitter with respect to the carrier. When it is not required, then it is called as the non-coherent scheme. Coherent and non-coherent reception schemes. Basically, coherent scheme requires very complicated circuitry, whereas non-coherent, the receiver is very simple. That is again the band pass or digital modulation technique, that is ASK, FSK, and PSK. So in CRUX, what exactly the digital modulation technique is? Given a binary source that emits 0 or 1, the modulation process involves switching or keying the amplitude or phase or frequency of a sinusoidal carrier wave between two values in accordance whether it is 0 or 1. This is overall description about the digital modulation technique. Now we'll be discussing about the phase shift keying. Phase of the carrier is changing according to the modulating signal. There are four types like BPSK, binary phase shift keying, QPSK, quaternary phase shift keying, A-Tary PSK, that is A-Tary phase shift keying, and MRE PSK. So basically in case of BPSK, binary phase shift keying, here we are going to represent the waveform with the help of two phases. If you are transmitting logic 0, the carrier will have 0 degree phase shift, 0 degree phase change, and when you are transmitting the other bit, that is the logic 1, it will be 100, it will be the phase changing by phase of the carrier is changing by 180 degrees. Here you are using you are transmitting either A or B. So only two symbols, either logic 1 or logic 0, we are able to transmit. We are using only one bit to represent it. So 2 raised to 1, number of bits required to represent the phase shift key carrier waveform is only 1. So 2 raised to 1 is 2. Two symbols we are able to represent. So two different phases are required. We have assumed it to be 0 and 180 degrees. That is phase of the carrier. Now, but only two bits, only two symbols are transmitted. It becomes very costly then. Then we can also think about when we want to transmit more number of symbols. Suppose if we represent every symbol with the help of 2 bits, then you have 4 combination. If 2 bits in the sense you have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. So these 4 combination will represent 4 different symbols. How many bits we are using? 2. So 2 raised to 2, you have 4 symbols you can represent. Now you need 4 different phases also, which carrier can have. So you have 0, 90 degrees, then you have 180 and then 270. So these are 4 different. You can as well change the value of this value of the phases to be assumed. Then in case of A-Tary PSK, you are using 3 bits to represent the symbol. So 2 raised to 3 becomes 8 symbols uh, we can represent with the help of 3 bits. And the concept is extended for MIRI-PSK. Let us start with the basics of BPSK. We need to have certain derivations, so let us represent B of t as the message signal in digital form. Then we have adopted the not returning to 0 encoder. C of t denotes the carrier wave with carrier frequency. Fc is very large as compared to the bandwidth of the binary data stream, that is the modulating signal, that is B of t. Let us represent this C of t with it's a sinusoidal waveform, so it is having constant amplitude and cos of 2 pi fct constant frequency. The modulated signal, which is represented by S of t, is equal to B of t into C of t. Now this S of t is equal to, we can as well expand the B of t into AC cos of 2 pi fct. I'll just represent it. So one thing we have to remember is the frequency and amplitude of the carrier is going to be constant. Only phase will be changing at that point when B of t is representing logic 0 or logic 1. So accordingly, phase of the carrier will be 0 degree or 180 degree phase for the different two bits, that is logic 0 or logic 1. So we have to remember throughout our discussion, carrier is having constant amplitude and frequency, only phase is changing. So when you are representing logic 0, it is representing the 0 phase, or it is using the 0 phase change, and when you are using logic 1, we are using 180 degrees phase for the logic 1 representation. So only two symbols, logic 0 and logic 1. So overall, this BPSK can be represented as 1 bit used to represent the symbol. So 2 raised to 1, it becomes 2 symbols we can transmit with the help of BPSK, that is the name itself indicates. Now, and the amplitude and the frequency is constant. Let us represent this BPSK signal. This is the binary input, which is a data stream sequence of 101010. This time period TB. I will be dealing with this time period or the symbol time also, that is TS, in detail in the next few slides. For convenience of representation, you can just go through that. This carrier frequency is just representation. We have taken low frequency, low value of the carrier frequency. So it is completing only one cycle during binary, during time period TB. That is during one bit. 1 bit is one time period is TB, and it is completing only one. In practical, the carrier frequency is very high. Just take a look at this. Here you have sequence of ones and 0. When 1 is changing from 1 to 0, there is a phase reversal at this point. When 0, it is again changing from 0 to 1, again there is a phase reversal. I would like to bring to your notice that the phases are 0, pi, then 0, pi and 0, pi. One more example is available for you. This is B of t. It is sequence of 1 0, 1 1, 0 1, 0 0 and 1 0. The C of t, even I have selected it to be low frequency. It completes only one cycle for convenience of representation. In practical life, CT is the carrier frequency is very high as compared to the modulating frequency. So this is modulated signal. S of t is equal to B of t into C of t. So it is completing one cycle. At this point, the B of t is changing from 1 to 0. It has changed its phase. Again 0 to 1, it has changed its phase. Now, during this time of 1 1, the waveform is not changing its phase. It is completing two cycles. But when it is changing from 1 to 0, it is changing its phase and it continues. We have to represent the BPSK waveform mathematically. So these details. Let us consider the sinusoidal waveform of amplitude AC with power PS. Let us assume that for logic 1 we are representing with the help of 0 phase. So carrier frequency phase of the carrier is AC into cos of 2 pi fct plus 0. So it is AC into cos of 2 pi fct for logic 1. The second bit, that is S2 of t, when we want to represent logic 0, it is AC into cos of 2 pi fct plus pi. So you will be getting minus AC into cos of 2 pi fct. PS is the power of carrier. Whenever we want to represent the equation in terms of power, we will be substituting. We have PS is equal to AC square divided by 2. So replacing the AC in above equation, it gives you this particular equation is S1 of t is equal to square root of 2 PS cos of 2 pi fct, representing logic 1. S2 of t is equal to square root of 2 PS cos of 2 pi fct plus pi is equal to minus square root of 2 PS into cos of 2 pi fct. S1 and S2 are 180 degrees out of phase with each other. So the phase difference is 0 and phase difference between them is 180. So one phase for logic 1, another phase for logic 0. Remaining parameter of the carrier signal, that is frequency and amplitude, same. Now I want to represent the same equation in terms of EB, that is EB is the transmitted signal. EB is equal to PS into TB, where EB is the transmitted signal energy per bit. So S2, I will again represent S1 of t is equal to square root of EB divided by TB into cos of 2 pi fct. So on similar ground, we can represent for logic 0 also. There are few observations here. That transmitted signal, again same thing, S1 and S2, transmitted signal energy per bit, that is EB, is constant. So average transmitted power is constant. Second observation is demodulation of BPSK is not possible with only envelope detector. Coherent receiver is required. I'll show the block diagram. This is one more representation of BPSK signal. So BPSK transmitter, basically this is the source or the modulating signal represented by B of t. Then we are adopting NRZ encoder. This B of t is multiplied with the cos of 2 pi fct, that is the carrier frequency, carrier signal, that carrier frequency is 2 pi, carrier frequency is equal to fc. Now BPSK signal is available at the output of a multiplier is B of t into square root of 2 into PS into cos of 2 pi fct. The transmitter and receiver at the same time. This particular portion is transmitter. BPSK signal which is available here. Then it is made to pass through channel. Channel can be wire, wireless. Application may be Wi-Fi, satellite, optical fiber communication, that is the fiber or waveguide, anything. This is receiver. So this is a very broad or very raw receiver block diagram representation of the BPSK receiver. The signal is received after propagating through the channel. Then the carrier frequency, it is multiplied, then it will be integrated and then decision making. I would like to give the details regarding this particular transmitter and the receiver. Just now we said that the receiver has to be coherent one. So BPSK receiver, the red colored text is given, that is transmitter. B of t, then carrier frequency cos of omega ct, and the balance modulator, and the BPSK signal is available at this particular point. The signal is made to pass through a channel. Now, at this particular point, we differentiate between the coherent receiver and the non-coherent receiver. Had it been non-coherent receiver, uh, these three blocks or the circuits wouldn't have been necessary, because these are carrier recovery or carrier retrieval circuits. Why it is necessary to retrieve the carrier at the receiver? As I told you, whenever the signal is propagated in the channel, during this propagation, the carrier frequency, the phase of the carrier frequency will be changing, like cos of omega ct plus theta. It changes both. It changes phase, it changes frequency. So if it is changing frequency, then the as I told you, like this is the value, that is the carrier frequency, which is getting multiplied with the BPSK signal. Then it will be integrated, and then the further processing. So here I have represented as a broad way that local the carrier frequency is 2 pi fct. But whenever there is a phase shift generated or introduced as undesirable thing, or some noise is introduced, and your received signal becomes cos of omega ct plus theta. It's noise, it's random, you don't know what is the value of theta. So whenever we are multiplying the carrier frequency with incoming BPSK signal, in that particular case, the carrier on which it is whose phase is changing is cos of omega ct plus theta. And if we locally generate the carrier frequency, it is omega ct. We don't know the value of theta, because it is random in nature, and any moment you don't know the value of theta. So both the frequencies, carrier frequencies, should be of same value, and that is why we retrieve the carrier signal. So it is in synchronization with the transmitter, that is the receiver is coherent. Okay, so how we retry first of all? Actually, this particular portion is very plain and simple. Demodulator, that's all. But because of these three blocks or circuits, that the carrier retrieval, it becomes coherent, and it becomes slightly complicated as well. Here you are using a square law device, where basically B of t is square root of 2 ps and cos of omega ct plus theta. This is the present at the output or at the input of the receiver. But we are going to square it, so you get remaining terms are constant. Amplitude of the B of t, or square root of 2 into ps. These are not playing any role in change of frequency or phase of the carrier frequency, carrier signal. So during the retrieval of the carrier, first of all you need to square it, so you are getting cos square omega ct plus theta. Then you are making it to pass through a band pass filter, and then you have a frequency divider. So at this particular point, I would like to show you some equations. We have used this particular equation, cos square theta. At this particular point, this theta is it's some angle, some variable. This value is representing right now as cos of omega ct, cos of omega ct plus theta. So when we represent it, 1 divided by 1 plus cos of 2 theta divided by 2 is equal to this particular expansion you will be getting. So you can make out this is the first term, which is DC. It doesn't have any component representing the frequency, whereas this one is cos of 2 theta divided by 2. Theta is a general term I have used here. Now the square law device, cos square omega ct plus theta. At the input of bandpass filter, you have this particular value. This bandpass filter whose frequency response is centered around the omega ct. So just now I have shown the equation. You get the terminology is cos of 2 omega ct plus theta, because this 1 by 2 is giving you a DC term, and this DC term will not be present at this particular output. So what is available at the bandpass filter is cos of 2 omega ct plus theta. After that, we'll be using a frequency divider, that is divided by 2, and then we'll be getting the carrier frequency, uh, actual carrier frequency with effect of phase shifters. Now it is given as input to the synchronous demodulator. One input is the BPSK signal, and then through integrator, then bit synchronizer, it gives you the output, which is represented as B of t into square root of PS into TB divided by 2. So we are able to retrieve the value of B into T. B of t, which is the original signal. At this particular point, I also would like to give some more details regarding the BPSK signal, where for BPSK we are using only one bit to represent the symbol. So one symbol is equal to one bit. So one symbol time is equal to one bit time. So this is very important. We have to remember this, because whenever we try to find out the bandwidth, we are going to derive equation for that same. Bandwidth is equal to 2 into FB is equal to 2 divided by TB, because FB is equal to 1 by TB. But we know that bit period is equal to symbol period. So 2 by TB is equal to 2 by TS is the bandwidth of BPSK. Now we are talking about the frequency coverage because of BPSK signal, that is the BPSK spectrum. We have B of t, that is NRZ binary waveform. Power spectrum density of B of t is represented as this particular value. We have already discussed this in the classroom, where you are going to find out the power spectrum density, and for the B of t, it is TB into sinc function or sine of pi f into TB divided by pi f into TB. When it is multiplied with the carrier frequency, it becomes a BPSK signal, and then it is like either multiplied or modulated by cos of 2 pi fct, and the spectrum is centered around the carrier frequency. So PS, the power spectrum density of BPSK, is represented in this particular way. I'll just proceed. We have equation, same equation I have written over here. One is representing the FC minus F minus FC, and second sinc function is represented with the help of F plus FC. Okay, so important thing is spectrum of digitally modulated waveform. It may be BASK or BPSK or BFSK. Right now we are talking about the BPSK. Irrespective of it, spectrum is centered around FC, that is the carrier frequency. Now we have this spectrum of BPSK. You can take a close look at this. It is centered around the carrier frequency. The first zero crossing is at FC plus FB, and second on the left side it is FC minus FB. It's a major lobe basically, and rest of the amplitudes are almost negligible. So the first point is FC plus FB. On the left side it is FC minus FB. Whenever we talk about the bandwidth, it is the highest frequency minus lowest frequency. So we have highest frequency as FC plus FB minus, that is the minus lowest frequencies FC minus FB. All remaining these nodes are having negligible amplitude, so we don't consider. Major 95 to 99% of the energy is within this FC plus FB and FC minus FB frequency range. So highest minus lowest frequency, you get this particular equation which I have used it to be 2 into FB is equal to because once you expand this, fc plus fb minus fc minus fb, you will be getting 2 into fb is equal to 2 divided by tb is equal to 2 divided by ts. So this is the derivation for bandwidth of BPSK. It is 2 into MB, that is 2 into frequency of the message signal. This is the geometrical representation of BPSK. That is on one side, that is if this is the original, this is the 0 phase representing logic 0, and this is the second on the left side of it. You have 180 degrees phase for the logic 1. Coming to the conclusion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of BPSK? This is most robust of all PSK. If we compare BPSK, QPSK, 8-array PSK or M-array PSK, this is most robust because only highest level of noise or distortion only makes the demodulator to reach the incorrect, to an incorrect decision. That is the robustness. If you are transmitting logic 1, you will be getting logic 1, and if you are transmitting logic 0, you will be getting logic 0. There are very less chances that you are transmitting 1 and receiving 0, you are transmitting 0 and receiving 1. Only highest level of noise only can make distortion and incorrect decision will be taking place. Why this is happening? Because you have you have 180 degrees phase shift between the symbols which are represented by 0 phase and the 180 degrees phase. So this is the most major or highest major advantage of the BPSK. Disadvantage of the BPSK is most unsuitable for high data rate transmission application because you are able to transmit only one symbol, only one bit per symbol. So in BPSK you are able to transmit only two symbols, either logic 1 or logic 0. So whenever we need to transmit very high data, then we have to opt for some more type of the PSK. It may be QPSK or 8-array PSK or M-array PSK. So in case of the next lecture will be the QPSK, where 2 bits are used to represent a symbol, whereas in case of BPSK, as we have shown, 1 bit is used to represent the symbol. Let us see the effect of using 2 bits per symbol or 3 bits per symbol or n number of bits per symbol in further lectures. Thank you.